and I love my job.
You can extend the life of the machine years.
Don't let space not let you get the deal.
Yeah, I'd say transparency is definitely our strong suit.
There's been a huge influx.
We know what we're getting into. We know how to rebuild it.
Hey everyone, Dave Men's Laundromat Millionaire coming to you live from Cincinnati, Ohio. We're not actually live, I'm kidding. We're recording this, but that's okay. We're coming to you from Cincinnati, Ohio. I'm here with my beautiful, wonderful, awesome, intelligent wife, trying to get some brownie points to work with me a little bit. Carla, and we have some fantastic guests with us today. And I'm excited because I know there's a bunch of different podcasts out there in the world, and I have a feeling that there's never been a podcast on this topic. And if there has been, I'm not aware of it. So I need to go dig that up. And that is used and refurbished laundry equipment. There is a tremendous amount of very valuable, useful life left in equipment a lot of times when it's removed from laundromats and commercial spaces. And our guests today are experts at refurbishing it, reconditioning it, and giving you an incredible bang for your buck when it comes to modernizing your laundromat. So I'm pretty excited to have our guests here today. Carla, do you want to introduce them?
Yes. So today's guests, we actually have three people with us today. We have Scott and Kevin Butorak. Hopefully I said that right. And they are from they are from Akron, Ohio, where they are the co-owners of Triad Laundry Equipment. And they have been in the laundromat business for 11 years and started Triad about 6 years ago. We also have with us Carri Wells, their office manager, who has been with them for the past 2 years. And they're going to be talking to us today about refurbished laundry mat equipment, and I look forward to learning about this because I am always looking for a deal. I love shopping, not necessarily for laundromat equipment, but anyway, I like a deal.
So yeah, welcome to the show, guys. We're excited to have you all.
Thank you.
Yeah,
We're
thank you.
excited to
We're
be here.
excited to be here. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, thanks so much. Listen, we want to dive right into this because I want to get to the nuts and bolts of people understanding how and why used equipment turns into refurbished equipment and what's valuable, what's not, whether you're buying stuff off of the back of a truck that's not really refurbished, it's maybe used, but nobody's ever actually taken a peek at it or even pulled a panel off. I want to get to that stuff, which I know people have questions about, and I do too. But before we do, until I found Carri on LinkedIn, or she found me, I don't know which happened. Until that happened, I'll be honest with you. Like, I pride myself on being kind of obsessive about this industry, and I didn't know you guys existed. That's the truth. So hopefully this will help to get the word out there that you guys exist. But the reality is I've been doing a little bit of homework, and turns out you guys apparently do some pretty good stuff over there. And you're from Ohio, so you can't be all bad as long as you're not Buckeyes. You're not Buckeyes, are you?
No, I
actually
went to the University of Cincinnati for a little while.
There you go.
Right.
We like the Bearcats. I'm a Michigan fan.
Yes.
I grew up in Flint, Michigan. So I tell people all the time I'm an Ohioan, but I am not a Buckeye. Let me be clear. I'm not a Buckeye.
I don't know what to say.
He's gonna hang up. Now we only have two people on the show.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'll give you a little grace if you give me a little. How about that, Scott?
Sure, that works. Whatever. Yeah, it's fine.
Cool. So anyway, what we like to do a lot of times when we start the shows is hear a little bit of your backstory. And obviously we usually only have one or two guests on the show. We have the three of you, but it's a pretty cool dynamic because two of you are brothers and co-owners. And my understanding is that Carri has been a childhood friend and now an employee and business partner for a long time. So walk us through the beginning of like your childhood as you guys grew up together. Did you spend a lot of time together?
Did you all dream of owning
always
laundromat equipment?
We all do.
Business.
Who doesn't dream of this?
Yeah, who
guys?
doesn't?
So Scott, why don't you jump in if you want to?
Yeah.
Just tell us the story of you guys' childhood, and obviously you can all jump in anytime you want.
Sure. So obviously Kevin and I grew up together as babies, but Kevin was always like the one to as a child, like I would play with cars on like the couch or coloring books or whatever, and Kevin would take like the radio and tear it apart.
We have one of those in our house.
Yes.
We have one of those.
Yeah, perfect. So I don't know the way, and then I guess as things went on, those kind of characteristics progressed through our life. So as we got older, Kevin was more of the technical side. I was more of the non-technical side, but together we put both of our minds together, and we've been best friends, obviously, since we've been able to walk through high school, through college. Yeah, it depends on the day. So yeah. And then as through high school, became good friends with Carri, and then also through college became even closer to Carri. And I think like for me, going through college, I didn't know what I wanted to do. I kind of wanted to work for somebody. I didn't think I want to work for somebody. And then as we started to kind of buy and sell laundry equipment, I'm like, okay, this could be a career. Carri was kind of at kind of a similar spot. We're like, hey, if you want to work with us selling laundry equipment, we could do that. And then I think one thing evolved into another and became a quite a lucrative business. But no, and to answer your question, did we ever grow up wanting to sell laundry equipment or work in laundromat business? No.
We're yet to get an answer on that question, by the way. We're yet to get a yes answer. I'm sorry. We're yet to get a yes. I don't know. Even me, as crazy as I am about the laundromat business, no, didn't grow up dreaming of owning a laundromat.
Right. But even kind of jumping back a little bit, my dad was in and out of manufacturing management his whole life. So he worked for actually a Hoover company, Hoover vacuum company, and moved around from different places. And probably in about 2010, 2011, he kind of wanted something else to supplement his income. He looked at a lot of different things. One being a car wash. Dave, I'm sure you're probably learning more about car washes now, right? With your new laundromat.
Much to my dismay.
Right. Then he decided to go with a laundromat. And so he knew nothing about a laundromat. He bought the equipment was old, it was run down. The sales were decent, but it needed a lot of work, both cosmetically and everything else. It was in a small town. It still is in a small. He still owns them. And we couldn't afford new equipment, so we looked to used. And we were finding really good deals all throughout the nation on used equipment. Things people had, that are 5 to 10 years old that people pulled out. They were like, hey, it's running great, no problems. It's just we retool every 10 years, and we're just getting rid of it. So then we'd buy it for obviously a fraction of the cost of new, put it in place. Some worked really well, others needed some work. But usually off the bat, we replace some components on it that would commonly wear out, that being water valves, drain valves, belts, stuff like that. And then we realized there's a huge market for used equipment. So this is taking back on the timeline, it's about 2010, 2011. And then as time went on, again, I was in college, Kevin was in college. We were like, hey, there's a market for this. We can sell it and make some money on it. And it was cool because as two college kids, you're like, oh, we made whatever this weekend. This is awesome. Let's go out and buy for beer money, and go have some fun.
So you all were still in college when you started Triad?
We're all still,
oh, wow.
Yeah, we're all still in school. And Carri was kind of looking for a part-time job in school. And we're like, let's all three do this together and kind of just basically flip some equipment. And then as time went on, it became more serious. And as I said, I didn't want it to be a serious job. It became a serious job, and now here we are. So, I don't know, Carri, if you want to add to that. I know you kind of came to Triad at a similar time than us. So,
how did they talk you into laundry business?
I don't know.
It was actually, I pretty much begged them to hire me. I was I had jobs, ever since I was 16, and they were fine, but I just couldn't really get into it. You know what I mean? And these guys had really, made Triad something at this point. And I was like, please, please, please hire me. I will do anything. And they're like, okay. So they finally got to the point where they could hire me full time. And I love it. I tell them every day, I'm like, I literally love coming to work, and I love my job. And
awesome.
Yeah. So anyways, I'm very happy to be here.
Yeah, that's fantastic, man. Anytime you can find a fulfilling job, career, business, whatever it is, it's what life's all about. Not too many people find that in their whole life. So that's awesome. Yeah. All right. So Kevin, tell us the truth. Tell us the truth. These two gave us quite a story here. There's got to be some truth in here. What was your perspective on this?
Unfortunately, I think they're pretty accurate with everything that they said. But no, I mean, we were looking for something that, I always enjoyed tinkering around with things. And like what Scotty said, our dad kind of brought us into the laundromat business. And prior to that, I had throughout high school and stuff, I had sold moped parts on eBay. I'd take apart old mopeds from the 70s and strip them down for parts and sell them. And it was a nice high school gig. And then I saw that laundry equipment could be a similar thing that, provided, more potential than what the moped parts did. And then that's kind of how we got into it. And yeah, I mean, it's been good. Every day is a new adventure for sure. And we have a lot more to pursue moving forward. But yeah, that's a pretty accurate backstory there. So
it was yeah, I mean, I always said I don't want this, I don't want a real job. I don't want an office job. I want to work for myself. And then here we are. I'm pretty deep in laundromat and laundry business now. There's no getting out. So it became pretty real pretty quick.
It's almost like being in a
Yeah.
gang, right? Once in, never out.
yeah, right.
Yeah, it really is laundry gang. Yeah, laundry life.
Yeah.
Well, I imagine y'all have probably been really slammed with the whole supply chain down. Like, I know it's hard to get new equipment right now. So have you all found like a big influx of requests for equipment in the past year or so?
Yes, very much so. You should see our parts room. It's pretty crammed because when a customer places an order, that's when we go and order the parts, and I organize them all, and we can't even walk back there. It's so crammed, which is a good thing. Not complaining, but
Sure.
definitely.
There's been a huge influx. And again, our lead times on equipment, kind of backing up. When someone places an order, it's several weeks until we can have it ready because we recondition the equipment as the orders come in. Our lead times have extended greatly, and still people are saying, "Hey, that's no problem." The lead time I knew is twice that or 3 times that, so that's no problem. But again, not complaining. It's part of growing and doing more. Some of the issues we're having now with parts, just unavailability, or some of the parts warehouses are understaffed, stuff like that. Problems everybody else is facing in every other industry. But in addition to learning to grow in a normal economy, or learning to how to adapt in this kind of economy. So, but yeah, I mean, every day is different, believe it or not. Even though we're just dealing with washers and dryers, but yeah, we're learning to get through it. It's been a large influx lately, so it's good.
I would imagine too that the whole marketing side of your business is substantial. Like, how do you all find the people who have the used equipment to sell to you, and what do you all do to get word out there that you have this used equipment for people that are interested?
I mean, other than going on podcasts.
Well, yeah.
Other than
Being from the millennial generation, I imagine y'all are probably decently computer savvy. So has that helped you a lot?
Yeah.
Do you use a lot of social media? What do you all do there?
Yeah, Kevin definitely is the one who finds the majority of our deals. But yeah, Kevin, you can expand on that if you'd like.
Yeah, so really it started primarily with just like trolling Craigslist, Facebook Marketplace, eBay, all those sources that are free for people to sell things on and get rid of stuff. And that's kind of evolved into more. Carri's done a lot with like social media, Instagram, a lot of LinkedIn. We've done a lot of eBay, a lot of Google and Google AdWords. So we've kind of ventured into any possible area that we can go in, and built some relationships, with other distributors or multi-store owners who are looking to retool, and things along those lines. So that we're just trying to hit it at any avenue, and that's one of the big things. Is like, we'll buy anything from one piece in California or whatever, if it makes sense, to 100 pieces, in a laundromat that's retooling. So we try to just structure every deal independently, and as long as it makes sense for us, then we'll go after it. And it's just being aware of what's out there and keeping an eye on it and staying on top of it, and again, building those relationships that's really important. So
Going off of the social media that you were talking about, it's such a great source because it's free. I mean, it's such a great way to advertise. You don't have to spend any money. You can, like, a lot of times I will boost our Instagram posts, to try and, get more followers, get more activity, but you don't have to, you just go on there and post, and it's completely free. Whereas, Google, you're paying for your AdWords, basically any other kind of marketing you're paying for except this. But yeah, it's definitely a great resource that, I think a lot of more people could benefit from it too.
Any of the three of you can answer this, whoever's the most appropriate, but I would guess there's an ebb and a flow between, holy cow, we're selling all of our inventory and we can't get it in, to, holy cow, we're getting all these requests, to, hey, do you want to buy my used equipment? And we don't have anywhere to put it. How do you balance that other than just like triage?
Yeah.
That's the answer, triage. Fair enough. Is it something?
No, it's very difficult because one day you've got all this influx of equipment, like you said, Dave, and then, the next day it's all gone, but it's, work in progress or whatever. And it's very hard to balance out that flow. You never know who's going to call with a deal to sell you. You never know who's going to call looking for equipment. So what we've kind of learned over the years is really narrowing it down to specific, ages, brands, and models of machines that we feel are most common and can kind of, fulfill a need of a lot of people. But we do struggle with that daily. We can buy a whole store tomorrow, and then next week there's even a better one. And so we've got some additional offsite warehouse space that we're dealing with now. We overpack our current warehouses. You can probably see where Scotty is. And then next week it'll be empty. So yeah. But it's a very difficult thing to balance out, and it's a major struggle, and it's a growing pain. I mean, it's a good struggle to have. We're not complaining, but I've always said my goal is to be, have inventory so that whoever calls, you can at least have something for them. And that's more so on like the OPL side, keeping a range of every size of machine, washer and dryer, electric heat, gas heat, whatever. But it gets hard into the coin op side where someone needs, a row of 15 matching stainless steel dryers or whatever, or various size washers, all the same generation and brand. So that does get very, very difficult to deal with, but we try our best.
Yeah. How big is your facility that you have there?
Combined warehouse space. Again, Kevin, you can probably correct me if I'm wrong. We have 6,000 to 7,000 square feet.
Yeah, thereabouts.
Packed full, can't move, can't breathe. Only one person can be in the warehouse at one time. About 6,000 to 7,000 square feet combined. But yeah, one thing Kevin taught me a long time ago is I think we found a deal, and I forget what it was, but it was a lot of equipment. And he said, "Don't let space not let you get the deal." And I'm like, "Well, how?" And he's like, "Just don't let space not let you get the deal." And that has been something that we've gone by since the start of this.
So now your home is full of equipment. Your basement's full of equipment.
Outside, yeah. There's a trailer on our cars. It's actually, but no, but yeah, no. It's a tough balance. But I think kind of being having overcapacity or too much capacity is at times is what's going to help, because you can always pack it full. You always want to have too much instead of not enough. But it seems like lately we haven't had enough. But again, we learn each day.
Roughly what % of your business is the OPL side versus the coin laundry side, would you say, roughly? Is it about an even split, or?
That's a tough one.
50-50?
Is it fairly
It's
evenly split?
pretty close. Yeah, we saw a big drop off in the OPL last year, obviously, with the COVID stuff, and the coin kind of picked up. But yeah, I'd say it's pretty even, 50-50. I mean, obviously we'll have, one coin customer purchase multiple machines, and usually an OPL customer is just getting one washer or one dryer. But yeah, it is pretty well balanced there, 50-50.
That makes sense. Kevin, you mentioned a minute ago that you, and I'm putting words in your mouth, so correct me if I'm wrong, sounded like you almost said you kind of cherry pick, which if I were in that business, I would think I would too. what are the common, because we don't have to be brand agnostic here. We just have a conversation and you tell me the
Right.
truth. What are the ones that you're looking for? If people are watching this, because this is for the consumer, right? This is for the laundromat owner. So he points to the Dexter, fair enough. And by the way, not everybody is watching the video version. This is on all the audio only podcasts. So sometimes we do have to narrate for people that are only listening and not watching. But what are the brands, sizes, those type of things? What are you looking for? And I'm assuming at this point in the business, after 6 to 10 years, you're looking for stuff because you know what order is basically about to come in.
Yeah. So our specialty is anything 20 pounds to 100 pounds. We cut it off there. Okay. Once in a while, random deal, we might get, something over 100 pounds, but we just don't know a whole lot about it, to be honest. And it's not worth us diving into. It's a whole different market. We know other companies that deal with that. We usually trade off the deals to them if we come across something. And the other thing is within 10 years old, and even 10 years now, we're seeing is pushing it because we've noticed some brands are cutting off support to certain, machines at certain ages, or the parts are becoming really expensive and they're not, they want you to buy new versus going with, an older machine. So we primarily deal with Alliance stuff, and Dexter is our two major brands. We'll dabble in a little bit of Wascomat, Electrolux here and there. But yeah, Alliance and Dexter are biggies. We obviously know mechanical timer equipment, really. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty much all we deal with now. We used to, prior to a couple of years ago, we would go for pretty much anything decent we could find. But now we've just kind of gotten more picky about what we're looking for. So, and it not only does it help us, we know what we're getting into. We know how to rebuild it nicely. We know what the finished product will look like. But you're also passing along a gently used machine that has a lot of life left for the customer, who's going to be able to get support on it, parts, whatever they need for the years to come. And you don't want to leave them with something that they cut the support off in 2 years or whatever.
Okay. Do you focus only on rigid mount or hard mount equipment? Do you do soft mount too? Do you have a preference? I'm assuming it's at the end of the day about the orders you're getting in.
Yeah, we'll do some soft mount stuff for like the OPL markets.
Okay.
We don't really do any small chassis used, like the white painted exterior machines, the Alliance stuff, unless they're only a few years old. Other than that, we found that it's best for not only us, but also the customer just to purchase a new machine. By the time we rebuild a small chassis unit, you're going to be close to the cost of new. And again, the longevity of that unit's not going to be there compared to a hard mount. But majority of our business is hard mount. I'd say 85% of the machines we sell are hard mount.
Okay. And do you throw top loaders in that small? I do. Do you throw small top loaders in that small chassis category?
Yeah. So like the top loaders, the Horizons or the Cobras, the small chassis, the apartment stuff. Yeah. We really just recommend going with new for that. It's just not cost effective for us or the consumer.
Yeah, I think most people would kind of agree, and it depends on turns per day and stuff, but I think most people would agree if you get to those machines that are 8 to 10 years old, that's pretty much the useful life cycle anyways. So
right. Yeah, and with all
sense.
all the painted surfaces on them, and they're not built like a hard mount, So
yeah. Okay.
So this might be a silly question, but can you walk me through the process? So when you get equipment in, what process do you all go through to refurbish it? Like, do you have a certain checklist? Are there certain things you always replace? Do you offer any warranty on your refurbishment?
So as soon as there's several things automatically that we replace on refurbished equipment. And also too, we do sell used equipment, just honestly tested, wiped down, cleaned. And we're very upfront about that. And that's usually machines that are going to be, 3 to 5 years old, 5 years old being the oldest. And that's just because it's relatively new. You don't need to really do an overhaul on it. But our typical refurbishment we automatically replace water valves, drain valves, door gaskets, belts, usually motor bearings, soap lids or soap lid gaskets, decals, overlays. I don't think I'm forgetting anything. And then usually about the 10-year mark, depending on what kind of machine it is when we do the main drum bearings. Anything usually about 10 years or newer, we don't do them. But again, on everything we sell, we do sell with a warranty. It's a 6-month parts warranty. So if any customer has a problem with the part, we replace that free of charge, covering the cost of the part. And then if there's a 1-year bearing warranty. So if there's a bearing issue within 1 year of the customer owning it, we take care of any charge associated with the bearing. So if the drum bearing wears out within 8 months, we'll either, whatever we agree on. So we either send them a new replacement machine, or we send them, we send a tech out there to change the bearings, and we cover the cost of all of that.
So you're telling me,
again,
hold on. So you're telling me if somebody buys a used 40-pound washer from you, and it's under that bearing warranty, and they're in California, you're saying you'll send a tech?
Yep.
I want to make sure we're clear. You're saying you'll send a tech out there to change those bearings out?
Yep, absolutely. So if they buy the
Good for
machine
you.
on January 3rd, 2021, and on December 10th, 2021, they say, hey, this thing's grinding, there's water leaking out the weep hole in the bottom of the trunnion. The bearings are gone. We'll say, okay, no problem. We'll find a tech in that area. We'll send them out there, replace it, and send us the bill. So it's we cover all that. Or they'll say, hey, you know what? We have another one here. We just did the trunnion and motor bearings on it. You just want that? We'll send it to you. Yeah, sure. And we'll send that and cover any costs associated with that. You usually get the old machine back. So yeah, that's that. They're kind of bumper to bumper bearing warranty on that machine. Again, for parts, it just does cover the cost of replacement parts. But again, we don't have a large amount of warranty claims, because, well, like I said, most of the parts we replace are the wear components. But again, things happen. It's a washer and it's a dryer, but it's a piece of machinery. There's a lot of moving parts, so things can happen.
When you say you bring in a used equipment, you're going to refurbish it, you change out all the parts you just described. Are you putting new OEM parts on these machines? Yeah.
I'd say 99% of the time we're putting new OEM parts. And that maybe 0.1% accounts for if there's a bad computer or there's a bad inverter, we might replace it with either a used inverter or a rebuilt inverter or a computer board in that kind of situation. But 9 times out of 10, it's going to be a brand new part. And most of the time it's OEM parts too. We don't use a lot of generic parts. For some things we might use them but again, for most of the time it's all OEM parts. And that's just I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, what's an example of one you would use
and
aftermarket?
Use a non-OEM part? Maybe for a door gasket or a soap lid gasket or
overlays.
Overlays. Some overlays use aftermarket. Yep.
Like a roller for a dryer, maybe, or something like that.
No.
Roller for a dryer.
Good answer.
No, we learned that. We use. Yeah, aftermarket's the rubber didn't last, but the inner bearing did, and that wasn't a nice phone call. So.
She doesn't even have a clue what we're talking about.
I don't even know what a roller for a dryer is.
You will.
She's written checks for a lot of them. I can assure you of that.
Okay.
I do the accounting.
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah,
I just pay them.
She's like, should I pay this? Yes. Okay, I'll pay it. That's all she knows. Sorry, I tickled myself there. I apologize. That's kind of a hot button topic for a lot of people. So as you obviously know.
Yeah, I'm not saying there are great aftermarket companies out there to offer aftermarket parts. There are great companies that offer aftermarket rollers. Triad doesn't have the time to experiment with them. I mean, we've gotten some that are great. We've gotten some that certainly are not. So the ones that have been guaranteed to be good are OEM, and that's what we go with. So,
do you all ever take in used equipment and say, maybe this isn't worth refurbishing for whatever reason, but we're gonna strip it down for parts? Do you sell used parts? Can people call you and buy used parts from a 5-year-old Dexter washer or something, or is that's not something you get into?
We really don't do a whole lot of it. I mean, once in a while, if we take something in like on a trade or whatever, and it still has some good components left that we know are desirable, we'll kind of set them aside if someone calls, offer them. But we don't do a whole lot of used part stuff.
Do you just use those used parts to refurbish a different one?
Yeah, I
A
was
lot
gonna
of
say,
times, yeah.
Yeah, if we get a let's say we purchase a bank of 5 machines and 4 are good and one's just totally rough, we'll say, hey, you know what? I think best bet here to kind of use parts from this fourth and rebuild the rest. You know, but yeah, we don't do huge parts of this unused. Once in a while, again, we do, but
Yeah,
not,
we have
not a
a
large part.
some on eBay that we sell. But Dave, you said, like, could somebody get parts for like a 5-year-old Dexter that we wanted to part out? We have a 5-year-old Dexter. There's no way we're parting that out.
Yeah, probably a bad
Things
example.
before we get it in.
Right.
Yeah.
Probably a bad example. Fair enough. Okay, gotcha. So let me ask you guys a question. With laundromat owners, I mean, do people call you and they're like, you know, I think I want to go used, but I mean, do you ever guide people to new equipment?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, if new is, something that's in your budget, I would go new all day long. We do sell new Dexter also to
Oh, you do?
yeah, we're a
Okay.
sub dealer of Dexter. So for OPL and Coin to Ohio, Kentucky, Indiana, we have the territory there as a sub dealer. But I think a lot of people get, the sticker shock of the cost of new, and that's when, they're looking at an alternative of, hey, I can get a 5-year-old or 10-year-old Dexter. And, we usually say your 10-year-old Dexter is going to last you another 10 years, probably won't have any bearing issues. We've gone through and done most of the stuff that goes wrong with it. And, you'll have a good life out of it. But if you can get new, your new Dexter will last you 20 years, So yeah, I mean, it really just comes down to what are you looking for and what can, what's in your budget. A lot of customers I think that we encounter are looking to upgrade something that's 30 years old, so 10 years is much newer than what they have now, and they're, tickled by that. And again, kind of like what we went off earlier, we're just trying to stay in the realm of the newer technology, with that equipment that's not super dated and, has a lot of the same features that the new stuff has. So, they feel that they're getting, a more value there with a machine that isn't outdated technology and just at a, lower cost. So.
Right.
You all seem to be very knowledgeable in being able to assess how much longer a machine is useful. Couple questions there. First is, are you all willing to sell those services? If people want an assessment of an existing laundromat, can you come in and give people an idea of the equipment they have, how long that would work without a retool? That's something you've ever done?
Yeah, I mean, no, we've had people say, hey, I just bought this laundromat, like, what do you think? And I mean, I don't know if I can sit here and say, hey, those machines are going to last X amount of years, but I can say from our experience, we've seen, X, Y, and Z. And a lot of times people, that's just how it is. It's say, hey, I want to replace this whole bank of machines. We'll say, hey, listen, you know what? Maybe I suggest just replacing, a few dryers, because it looks like someone replaced those machines about 5-6 years ago. There's really no sense in replacing that. And I don't even know if that's maybe like a service we sell, but it's kind of just I don't know, kind of how the three of us are. Well, yeah, something we do. We'll be willing to give you our advice and our 2 cents on what you have. And then if you do want to replace some machines, we hopefully will be your first call, stuff like that. Yeah.
My second question along those lines is, what advice can you give current owners to help lengthen the lives of their current machinery? If they're not going to buy used or new, they want what they have to last as long as possible. What type of maintenance, what can they do to help that happen?
So I think a big thing that we see is just general upkeep on the machines. A lot of stuff we get in, we'll see panels rotted out, or frames with the paint all rusty and chipping because of a water line that was just dripping for the last 10 years, or inverters that are just coated in lint that then blow out, and you're looking at an $800 repair that was totally avoidable if you just went in there and cleaned it up. Again, water leaks on, like, for example, door gaskets. If those drip for 2-3 drips every cycle for the last 10 years, it just rots the frame, rots the panels. And I think just being aware of like, checking out your machines once a month and going through cleaning them, popping those lower front panels off, popping the top lid off, and vacuuming it out, blowing it out, it really goes a long way, especially with dryers too. A lot of dryer fires, I mean, they're just caused by lint buildup in the motors. And when you think about lint and a flame, it doesn't mix well, and
Lint is
right
highly
there.
flammable.
Yeah. I mean, it's a
a
fire
little bit.
starter. It's perfect. So, right there, I mean, just blowing those out, a couple times a year, taking your front panels off, cleaning all that lint out of there, it really goes a long way. It is a little bit, takes a little bit of time, takes a little bit of effort, but I think you can extend the life of a machine years by doing that. And Scott, I mean, you can agree that we've seen a lot of machines that we can tell were taken care of and other ones that were neglected. And you can see a 15-year-old machine that looks newer than a 5-year-old machine just from general maintenance like that.
Yep.
Preventive
maintenance.
Yep.
Even a lot of the OPL equipment, a lot of the Unimac pocket washers, they have grease fittings on the bearing housings. All you have to do is you pump a few strokes of grease in there, every few hours. And there's actually, in a lot of the new machines, there's a message that pops up on the Unilink control that says, hey, grease your bearings. It's been this amount of time. Yeah, you might be in the middle, you might be loading, laundry in it, but just take that extra 20 minutes, put some grease in that bearing. You're going to make that thing last so much longer, and you're not going to have issues. So little stuff like that can extend the life of your machine so much more.
Any of you all can answer this, but do you feel there's a difference? And I don't see this as semantics, but I'm curious your perspective. What's the difference in a used machine and a refurbished machine?
So
where do we begin?
To me, a used machine is, it was running yesterday and I'm giving it to you today, and there's no change in anything that's happened. It's covered in lint. Maybe it had a slow fill because the water valve was bad. The drain's leaking and, it's constantly running water out. The door gasket's all crusty and, it's never been cleaned. To me, that's used. We occasionally will dabble with selling used as is equipment if it's very well agreed upon, stated, made clear. We don't like to do it because you don't know what you're getting. It's again, how it was sitting there today or yesterday.
What would make you sell a used? You seem very apprehensive, and I understand why, because it's your reputation, right? What would make you sell a used equipment as used as is versus saying, no, we need to run this through I'm using a car analogy, but our service department and their 24-point inspection, and then it's a certified Triad, gets your warranty. What would make you do that?
So usually if we're selling something used as is, it's only a couple years old. It's very clean. We know some history on it, where it came from, what it was doing, how often it was run. Again, we don't sell a whole lot of that just for that reason, because it's very hard to gather that information and know a true story on it. We will sell like some used, cleaned and tested machines where we'll take it in, we'll clean it up, we'll test it. We're not replacing any components on it unless they need it. But I can't guarantee that tomorrow your water valve might die or tomorrow your drain might die. And again, we try to make that very clear of what you're getting. And then our preference is obviously the recondition, because that way we've looked over it, we've replaced what we know needs to be replaced, and there's more comfort for the customer. You know what you're getting. You're going to pay a little more for it, but if there's an issue, and even when we sell as is stuff, we usually give some kind of a warranty with it, just so you're not left high and dry. But we're more likely to stand behind, and we're comfortable standing behind something that we've gone through, opened up, taken all the panels off, replaced everything, seen it with our own eyes to know what we're putting out there in the market. So
that's understandable.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the things you all told us when kind of prepping for this show today, you feel like used and reconditioned equipment kind of gets a bad rap. And I would agree with that. And I suspect we know the reasons why. We're not going in any specifics of companies or whatever, and I wouldn't know good and bad ones if they existed personally. But what sets you all apart? I mean, what do you know? I'm guessing you know the good companies of refurbished equipment, and you know the I'm sure there's some bad ones out there. What do you feel like separates you all from your competition?
Yeah,
Um,
there's a lot of good companies out there that sell good reconditioned equipment.
Hmm.
I think the bad rap comes when people are purchasing used equipment thinking that it's reconditioned.
Mm,
Um,
okay.
Again, like the perfect story that we run into is, oh well, it was running last week in my store. Just when we're buying it, we're expecting the worst when we buy anything, but
Hmm.
sellers aren't entirely, transparent with what they're selling. And oh, it
Hmm.
I'm
ran last week.
shocked.
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah. And then we get it and we find out, no, your inverter's, dead, and the motor's toasted.
Hmm.
But oh, what do you mean it ran? So I think that's where the used equipment, reputation comes into play, is that usually when you buy something used, you have no clue what you're getting. So we try to change that and provide some confidence, with the customer that, like what Scotty said earlier, yeah, it's a piece of machinery. It's going to have problems, but if there are, we want to be there to help you. We want to be there to fix it. And, we're not going to leave you
yeah.
high and dry if we, we'll take care of what we need to take care of. So.
Hmm.
Right. And I think a big thing, a key word there, Kevin, is transparency. Just relaying to the customer exactly what you did to the machine and what you're going to do to the machine. And Carrie, again, I'm sure you can add to this, but just I'm buying this used 60-pound speed queen washer. What are you going to do to it? And we'll list it off. And this is exactly what we did. We're not going to just wipe it down. We're not going to just check the water valves. We're not going to just make sure the drain doesn't leak. We're going to replace the parts we say we replace, and we're going to stand behind it. I think when the bad reputation comes in is people say, yeah, it's reconditioned. We just wipe, and that might say we just wiped it down, shot some paint on the frame. It
Hmm.
looks good to go. No, you're not going to get a machine not knowing what was done to it.
Hmm.
We're 100%
Yeah.
transparent from day one, from the day you inquire about the machine, say what's going to be, or ask what's going to be done. This is what's going to be done to it. So.
And also, to add into the transparency, we completely list the machine you're going to get. We say it's going to be a 2008 model year, it's going to be a 2008 model year. We're not going to send you the generation before when we told you it was, this generation. And
Hmm.
we're very clear. I mean, I keep up with all the inventory on our website, on our eBay, and I'm very clear at exactly what it is, the year, everything, full model number, everything. So yeah, I'd say transparency is definitely our strong suit there.
Carrie, if someone
Yeah.
buys a used or refurbished, sorry, I already did it. If somebody buys a I almost did it to myself. If somebody buys a refurbished washer from you all, for example, do they get a list, or I guess it's probably listed online wherever maybe your website or whatever. Does it literally break down for you? We put a new this, this. I don't
Yeah.
know, punch list. Is that the right word? I don't know.
Yeah. So actually, when a customer calls in and they're interested in a machine, I send them over a quote, and I have on that quote exactly what will get done to the machine. And then say they want to buy that machine, that list transfers to the invoice. And then, we go through the refurbishment process. And then if obviously we do everything that's on the invoice. And then if it gets something beyond that, then I also have a work completed sheet that I do. So like say the guys want to test it and it had a bad board, I'm going to put a new board in it, then, I'll add that on that work completed sheet. So you can see, you got what was said on the invoice, you got done what was said on the invoice, and then you also got this in addition to it. So yeah.
So I think you all have mentioned this a few times. I want to make sure I get this right. So you buy used equipment, you assess the condition of it as best you can from far away. You put a price on it, you pay for it, you send it in. Did I understand you right that you don't do anything to it until you have a buyer? Is that accurate?
That's correct. Yeah. So once we have a buyer, they sign their invoice, they put a deposit, and then they get on our schedule. And then we tell them our lead times and everything beforehand, and then we get them on our schedule. We get parts ordered, and yeah.
If a customer is looking they want to know what you have available, do you all keep like on your website, or is there someplace they can go to see what equipment you have available right now and how many of this or whatever?
Yeah, absolutely. On our website, triadlaundry.com, there is a shop pre-owned tab at the top. And I try my very best to keep that as updated as possible. But yeah, it's as updated as I can keep it updated as. So yeah. Yep.
Awesome.
And I
Yeah,
assume
it changes daily.
that's what I was going to
Yeah.
say.
Mhm.
I bet that
Yeah.
changes.
Yeah,
pretty
Yeah, it really
often.
does.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
a lot of times machines that we'll purchase won't even hit like the website or whatever because we have someone that was looking for them, who's on like a wait list that have first dibs to it. So
Mhm.
but yeah, it's kind of tricky to stay up on on everything that's coming in and going out. So
Mhm.
Through the website, can they get on a wait list for can they make requests for certain
That's
machines?
a good question.
On our website, we do have a questionnaire box that they can fill out. And I keep that sheet. So I constantly update it. People call in looking for, a certain amount of things, a certain machine, and I'll keep them on our list. And I go through that. And whenever we get something in, I go through our list and, reach out. And if they don't want it, then we'll go and, list it on our website and on eBay too.
So I'm curious. I know you said sometimes you do get in laundry equipment where the seller has not been completely honest. I'm looking for some entertainment here. What are some crazy stories of things you've gotten?
Oh,
Has there
boy.
been anything
How much time do we have
interesting?
left?
well, Carrie, what was that one we ran into last week? We bought some Dexter dryers that they're supposedly in perfect shape, and
Oh yeah,
missing
he told me it was missing a coin drop. So we put on the purchase agreement. It was missing a coin drop. We get the machine. It's missing the coin drop and the computer. And so I texted him and I said, "Hey, it's missing the computer." And he's like, "Yeah, I told you it was." I was like, "He said the coin drop." And he's like, "Well, the coin drop and the computer is the same thing." And I was like, "No." I was like, "They're
Not
a
quite.
little bit different in price." So yeah, I was like, "If you could find that computer somewhere, that'd be really great." So yeah.
Okay, so I understand because I have to
yeah.
jump in here. I cannot let you leave without answering this. I understand that on occasion that you I don't know if you buy or you sell. I'm not sure which. So somebody tell me this story, and it is something like a bonus. If you buy a washer, you get a rabbit for free. What's going on here? What's going on here?
Rabbit.
Yeah.
Maybe.
We're still not really.
Okay,
we're
tell us
still
the
not
story,
really
Carrie.
sure where that rabbit. We're really not sure where this rabbit came from, but
Canada.
we're in the
It came from
warehouse one day.
Canada.
Well, we think. So we're in the warehouse one day. Well, I'm in the office. They're in the warehouse. Scotty comes running in and he's like, "You have to come out here. You have to see this." And I was like, "What?" And he's like, "There's a rabbit in the warehouse." And I was like, "What the heck? How did that get in here?" So we think we had purchased some dryers from Canada and they had like a bunch of hay and dirt inside them. So we're guessing he was living in there. Well, me being the animal lover that I am, I start feeding it and it has a very nice life. And actually my mom bought me went to the feed supply store and bought me pellets to feed it. And so I'm feeding this and giving it water every day. And I forget which one of the guys said it, but they're like, we're going to start to find some droppings around here. And I was like, "Yeah, it's fine. And I kid you not, we found quite a bit, piles upon piles of rabbit droppings. And that's when they told me that I had to put a stop to the feeding and we had to catch it and let it go.
Yeah.
And I was really sad because we named it. Its name was Peter, and I got really attached to it. But I was trying to tame it so that we could keep it as a pet. But no, we had to catch it. We finally caught it one day. It was actually when customers were here with us, and we caught the rabbit.
It was.
And,
I was talking to some customers about equipment or whatever, and we had a trap out. And Carrie, she was coming out and just kind of joining in the conversation, and then we hear a click. I'm like, "What was that?" And then next thing you know, Carrie comes up with a cage and the rabbit. It's just, "We caught a rabbit." I'm like, "I hope I make this sale on this equipment because people are gonna think we're crazy." Carrie's walking around with a rabbit in a cage. We're just,
Customers loved
But hey,
it.
what are you
They're
gonna do? They did. Yeah, I keep in touch with him daily, so
Okay.
worked out great.
Well, another free business tip from Dave Menz because this is how my brain
Free
works.
rabbits.
I think you all should your logo should be a bunny rabbit.
I like that.
Triad Laundry Equipment. Have
love
Peter the rabbit right there on the logo.
Yeah.
So did you determine he came from Canada because that's where you bought equipment or because he has a Canadian accent? Which was it?
He said
a
"hey"
little
a
bit
lot. I'm not sure.
He said, "Hey."
He likes Tim Hortons.
All right, all our Canadian viewers, don't be offended. We're just
Yeah,
having
yeah.
fun. We're just having fun. Well, listen, guys, this has been awesome and fantastic. We're gonna at the very end, I'm gonna give you an opportunity to just tell people where they can find out and meet you guys. But since there's three of you, I'm gonna put all three of you on the spot. So hopefully this works out okay. If you were talking to a customer that just got in the laundromat business, and this could apply to used equipment or not, by the way, if you were talking to somebody that just got into the industry, let's say in the last year or so, what's a couple pieces of advice that you would give to them? Because being in the business you're in, and I know you mentioned your dad owned a couple laundromats, and I think still does. So your family is in the laundromat business, and we know what that's like. What's a couple pieces of advice that you would give a new operator?
One thing I would say was just there's so much free information out there. There's so many forums. There's so many Facebook groups. There's podcasts like this that have people in your exact position that are listening to them, that are contributing to them, and just reach out to or just even Google, laundromat or laundromat owners or how to start a laundromat, because there's so many. There's free resources everywhere. You can just go on blogs and see people that have had the same problems that you have had, that have maybe been in situations where they've wanted to buy a business, like my father, and they don't know what to do. And there's different things that people have contributed that says how to do it or why to do it or why not to do it. So just reach out, be connected. I'm sure there are many other things too, and others Kevin and Carri can add to it.
All right, Kevin, what do you think? I know he already stole a couple of your ideas.
I think, yeah, he did. No, but I think I found that everybody in this industry is willing to share knowledge, and Scotty, I think we kind of experienced that, like when our family purchased the stores a couple of years ago. We look at so-called competitors, in the area, and go look at their store, see what they're doing, and everybody is willing to talk with you about what works and what doesn't work. And just meeting with other store owners, meeting with distributors or anybody involved in the business, you can take a piece of knowledge away from that, good and bad, and really build off that for your success. And I think that the laundromat industry has kind of had a bad reputation for a lot of its existence. And a lot of people, I know, myself including, always thought of a laundromat as run down, dingy, dark, outdated. And we're seeing a lot of that, in the last few years, that there's these state-of-the-art stores and just pleasant environments, and it's more of an outing as opposed to a chore. And I think that really is the future of the industry. And to head down that direction, you can, I'm constantly on Instagram or Facebook and just seeing these ideas of what people are doing to their stores, and it's cool. And a lot of it, like Scotty said, doesn't cost much or anything at all. And anything that you can collect and make better is, to me, just a plus in your business. So.
Well, it's no secret that you guys are successful, and it's obvious why with those comments. But Carri, I'm going to let you show them up. What do you think?
Basically, just kind of recapping, I would just say do your research, and there's so many free resources. And I mean, I'm pretty active on LinkedIn, and there are so many people I'm connected with who are willing to share, ideas, what their personal experiences. And yeah, like backing off of what Kevin said about, the dingy, dark laundromat. Like anytime I go on LinkedIn now, I see somebody posting just like this outstanding, amazing looking laundromat. And I'm like, wow, that's awesome. And like, funny story, but like us three, we're best friends. So we'll go different places together. And anytime we do, we always have to stop at the nearest laundromat to see. Yeah. So, I mean, you can go anywhere and, go just walk in a laundromat. I mean,
when you go to a new city or you're traveling and you stop in another laundromat and say, hey, I own a laundromat too, most of the times the owner is going to say, wait, you own a laundromat too? And they're going to want to talk about their machines or talk about their problems or talk about what they found in this business. And it's a common ground that you can meet on. And it's don't be afraid to speak out. Don't be afraid to say you own a laundromat to another laundromat owner or another person in the laundry business, because everyone's most times open to sharing information and same struggles or whatever they have to deal with. So yeah.
Especially when you're far enough away from them where they don't have to worry about you being competition.
Right, exactly. That's even if
You're like, oh, I'm all the way over in the other side of Cincinnati. Oh, okay, well.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah.
I'll talk to you now.
Well, I'll be honest with you guys. One of the reasons I love doing this show is because you guys confirm with my wife that I am indeed crazy, but there's other people that are crazy too. Because
There
we
are.
can't hardly go anywhere, and I'm going in laundromats, go on vacation, California, doesn't matter. Dave's going to a few laundromats.
Gotta go find the laundromats. Yep.
Yep, it's what we all do. I used to
Always
just
do
think
it.
it was me because she just thought I was nuts. But then I started talking to other people, and I was like, look, there's a whole group
not
of them.
just me.
There's a whole bunch of them. We all do this, apparently. Listen, guys, this has been fantastic. We appreciate you guys coming on the show. Guys, if you're in the market for used equipment, whether you're selling it or you're looking to buy some, I just said used equipment. If you're in the market
Okay.
for reconditioned laundry equipment, you need to give them a call, whether you're selling, because the rumor has it they're buying on occasion, or you're looking to buy equipment to, upgrade your store. Give them a call. But guys, whoever wants, you can take this. Tell our viewers where they can reach out to you guys, either personally, business, your website. Give them all the information so that they know how to get in touch with you guys.
Yeah, feel free to find us on our website, www.triad.com. Also on Instagram, Triad Laundry, Facebook, Triad Laundry Equipment, LinkedIn, Carri Wells. Yeah, you see all kinds of the information usually overlaps. The posts we create are usually shared on multiple platforms. So find us there.
And to you guys, the three of you, I know you're obviously, and I mean this in the most endearing way possible, you're clearly my people. You're clearly laundry nerds, right? You guys embrace this?
We are.
Okay. All right. Good deal. Good deal. It's my people. My people. So do you guys regularly go to like conferences and trade shows and clean, the clean show? I mean, would people find you places like that?
We were just starting to, and then the whole
I know.
COVID hit. But yeah, we will for sure be at the next clean show. We're thinking of doing maybe like a little cocktail hour or something that we've been
cool.
trying to coordinate here. Maybe raffle off a washers or something like that. But yeah, we'll put that together.
Cool.
But yeah, obviously wherever you see us, reach out, and we're happy to talk about laundry. So
Awesome. Well,
Always.
before I let you guys go, I have a Facebook group. It's called, I don't know if you know, it's called Laundromat Millionaire Owners Group. And it's a private group. It's a little over 1,000 laundromat owners. But if any or all of you want to, if you're on Facebook and you want to join, it's a great group of people that are just trying to help each other be better, what I call elevate the industry. Obviously, it's my group, so I try to comment and post quite a few times. If you guys, any or all of you want to join that, you clearly are people that are interested in helping other people. And people are constantly talking about equipment on there. And I have an awesome new distributor here in Cincinnati, HM Company. They do all my service work. I didn't always, but I do now buy all new equipment. So anyway, yeah, if you guys want to jump in the group, I have a feeling you'd have a lot to offer, and pretty awesome group. A lot of them are my good friends, a lot of really experienced operators. So maybe you'll learn a thing or two too. You're welcome. Anybody's welcome as long as they have what I call the abundance mindset. So I tell people, don't come into my group and be a taker. Be a giver, and we'll get along just fine. And you guys are clearly those people. So anyway, I'd love to have you join the group if you'd like to. I know you're busy, but anyway,
Absolutely.
listen to our audience at home. Thank you guys for joining us. I hope this brought you a lot of value when it comes to used and refurbished laundry equipment. And if you have a use for either selling your equipment used or refurbished or buying it, give them a call. Great people, obviously doing a great job reconditioning it. Awesome product. There's definitely a need for this out there, which is why they have a booming business. So give them a call. Guys, thank you so much for joining us today. Scott, Kevin, Carri, Carla, thanks for joining us. You guys are awesome. And we'll see y'all next time for another episode of the Laundromat Millionaire Show. Take care.